Hello everyone and welcome back to Cogs and Clouds. I don't believe I've shown it on camera yet, but all over the map we have these benches that Happy Sock put in place, and I have gone ahead and put these little carpets on top, which means, as you can see, that we can sit on these benches. Isn't that cool? I would say that it is. Oh, and that's a spoiler over there, but something happened. Let's just have a look. Whoosh.
Percy!
Happy Sock!
Hello!
Hello!
I have to admit something.
Oh no, what happened?
I may or may not broke the bench over there.
You broke something that I did? But I would
Sorry.
never do the same to you. I would never accidentally copy an entire light thing through that mountain over there and break it. I would never do something like that. I just made a grave error. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, this is not good. Oh no, Sock is not going to be happy with me. Why would you break my stuff?
But look, you can still sit on it. It's just maybe a floating carpet now.
A whole new world.
A whole new world.
No, it's fine. I can fix this. Super easy.
So, what are you up to today?
I was thinking, we have this floating island and we have players that need to get here.
Mm-hmm.
There is currently no way of doing that.
That is true.
So, I was thinking, you know, the brand new Happy Ghast that we have in Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
What if they come in flying in here on the Happy Ghast? Wouldn't that be cool? Whoosh. So we are going to have a Happy Ghast transport all the new players from where they spawn, which will be somewhere over there, I figure. Doesn't really matter actually. But we're going to have them transported on a Happy Ghast over here to this island. And for that, Happy Sock has made a beautiful little platform over here, with already a Happy Ghast over there. And I promise you, every single time I ask Happy Sock to build something, she always over-delivers. I asked for a platform. In my mind, I was picturing like a wooden frame or something over here somewhere. But no, we're getting a proper floating island. That's perfectly fine. And so what we're going to do today is make it so that the player can actually get here on the Happy Ghast. Now, if you're wondering what all of this is over here, this is a different transport system. And that is something that Happy Sock is working on right now. And if you want to see that, there's a link in the description to her video where you can watch her construct this, and it's going to look a lot more detailed than this. So make sure you check that out right after watching this video. Now, let's go make sure that this Happy Ghast can transport our players, shall we? The problem that we need to solve today is that we have a world that is literally filled with nothing. There's literally infinite space in all directions, and somehow we need to get the player to get over here. I think that's a very difficult thing to ask from the player. So the player is not going to be flying the Happy Ghast themselves. We're going to have a sort of guide, if you will. The Happy Ghast is going to be flown by a special character we're calling the Aeronaut. And the Aeronaut is going to get the players to and from. I suppose in a sense, a little bit like a floating ferryman. Let's go design this Aeronaut, shall we? Whoosh. Of course, this entire adventure map being a steampunk area, this Aeronaut needs to fit the parts. Of course, if he's going to be flying up in the air, he is going to need some protection from the wind and from the elements. So I'm giving him a scarf, some really nice goggles, as you can see. I designed this Aeronaut a little different than I normally do, and I don't really know why. For some reason, I just felt like working everything one by one. Normally, I tend to color everything, so I have a rough idea of what I'm working with, and then I go in and add all the details like shading and stuff. Now, I think the big reason I didn't do that here is because I had a pretty clear vision of what I wanted. And so it was easier to just go ahead and do that. And honestly, I didn't mind that process at all. I think this Aeronaut turned out really great, and I cannot wait to see him in game. Whoosh. And I haven't tested it out yet, and so I don't know if this is going to work, but this should give us... No, it does not work. Oh, look at that. I solved the issue. There we go. This is our Aeronaut. Now let us take a little bit of a closer look at him, shall we? Look at that, there he is in all his glory. But I should say that this is not the final version of the Aeronaut. Currently we are in Minecraft 1.21.8, and in the next version, when we update, the Aeronaut is actually going to be a mannequin mob. But because the mannequin mob is not available to us yet, I've just given him a custom model for now. And so with this, let's get him flying the Happy Ghast. Starting with the basics. This guy needs a harness, of course. There we go. And I've just picked the blue one, but actually I kind of want to treat this thing like a theme park ride. I like to think I know a thing or two about theme park rides. What we're going to do is every single time we get a new one spawned in, we're just going to give him a random color. I think it'd be cool. For now though, we need to get this guy on top of the Happy Ghast, which we do a little bit like this. Look at that, now he's riding the Happy Ghast. Oh, that looks a little bit weird, doesn't it? We can fix that though, that's fine. In fact, we don't have to fix it because the mannequin will fix it automatically. In this episode, it's just going to look a little bit weird with him in the Ghast. Now, like I said, we do not want the player controlling this Happy Ghast, but there is an issue. When the player does get on, now I am in control, as you can see, and our Aeronaut has been moved to the side over there. That's not ideal. And unfortunately, it does not matter what I try, the player will always be put in the front there, and we cannot have that. Now, I was lucky enough, Happy Sock came through for us. She actually came up with an idea. And that is something that happens quite a bit in my theme park, is that we have a separate entity on the side here that's going to ride along. And the players will be riding those entities rather than the Happy Ghast itself. It sounds weird, but it's kind of the only option that we have. So let's make that happen, shall we? So in the data pack, I have made some commands and some function, and we should be able to summon our Happy Ghast with this function. And we're sitting on him, that's great, only we're kind of inside. That's not so great. We're gonna figure this one out. Hang on. See, I think that is actually a whole lot better. Our Aeronaut over here, by the way, seems to be having a good time, just looking up like that. That's fine. So now that we have the Happy Ghast in the positions and the players on them figure it out, we need him to go, the Happy Ghast, we need him to go here. And what we're going to do, because it's counted, I think, from the center, so we're going a little bit up. Let's grab the coordinates for this, and this is a really fast way of doing it. Copy, paste. And then what we're going to do is something very simple in a command block, and I'll put this in the data pack in a second. I'm going to do execute as the Happy Ghast. His name is Bruno, by the way. We are going to teleport him just a tiny little bit forward. Let's just do 0.2 for now. I'm not really sure what the speed should be. Facing, and then these coordinates. Now, if I press done, we should get him flying. Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. That's interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So I think I know what the issue is. Instead of having this here, we're going to do that and that. That will teleport into facing that. And we do facing. Is that a thing? These blocks, this should maybe work. Yeah, that's doing it. Look at that. And then when he eventually gets over here, he's not going to get over here. Why is that? Something is fighting this, and I do not know what. Maybe it's because he has AI still. That might be it. Let's see if this will do it. Oh, that does it. Okay, perfect. Now he's going to freak out over here, but that's what I expected. For now, I'm going to copy this command. I'm going to put it into the data pack. I'm going to make sure that he properly does not have an AI, and I'm going to make it so that he can actually go there in the data pack. A few subtle tweaks and changes later, and we've got this now. Look at that. We have our Ghast coming in on the platform over there. And when it does, a couple things are going to happen. First of all, it's not going to freak out anymore. It is going to stay here and dismount the player. And that is what's happening for now. What we need to happen now is it flying off again. And that's actually really simple. We are going to go off a ways. Well, we need to go a little bit farther away from the island. Around here is fine. And then we're going to grab these coordinates. And then in the data pack, we're going to have it fly there. So hopefully this does not look as bad as I think it is going to look. Yeah, we have a ways to go here, by the way. Hey, there you go. It disappeared. Notice how there was no death animation. I'm really proud of that one. So this is pretty straightforward, I think. We have a dude going there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then once we get there, the player gets dismounted. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And then he goes away again. Perfect. That's exactly what we need. And Of course, at this point, the player should be focusing on what's going on here. They will not be focusing, hopefully, on the ghast anymore. But even if they are, we can see the ghast happily floating away. Now, obviously, I do want to know what it looks like from a distance. Oh, there you go. That's how that happens. They just disappear. Now, obviously, we do not have a spawn island here yet, but that's going to come in the future. And when it does, the player will be transported from the spawn island all the way over here on the Happy Ghast to start the actual adventure here. And that concludes this episode of Cogs and Clouds. If you want to know what Happy Sock has been up to, as I've already said, there will be a link in the description. If you want to have these cool benches with carpets on them that you can sit on, I actually have a data pack called Percy's Comfort Kit that you can install in your own survival worlds, and you can have carpets like this on benches as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description. And finally, if you've been wondering why my skin has those weird black bars and some weirdness on the top there of my arms as well, I have a video explaining that, going in full detail on why that is, which I'll also link in the description below. I guess that's enough for you to check out after this. You won't have to be bored. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!
Go away.
You can F3 and D.
Oh, it's gone by itself.
Oh, okay.
See ya!
Oh, bye-bye! What? Doc!
Oh, no!